Going to try something a little different today. There was a while back where I sort of became obsessed with YouTube channels that were smelting their own metal and putting it in recycling. So it's like, this one's aluminium, I think this one's brass, and this one's copper. And I ended up buying these just on like eBay, just because they're nice things to have, honestly. They're good tactile things. And then I thought to myself, it'd be fun if I could get gold rather than just common metals. What about gold? So I looked it up. Yeah, £60,000 for a gold bar. That's a little bit much. I don't have that money. Look, I couldn't even get a... Wow. 1 ounce is £2,000. No. So that ended up being a little bit expensive, to be fair. So my brain then went, all right, what about one of those fake gold bars that you see online? And they just look a bit naff. So then my brain decides what would be funny. And you know what would be funny? I think we can see what's coming. A house brick. Yes. An actual house brick. Now, this has been an idea in my head for a while, because this thing, it should be that colour, but it's not, because it's been in a closet for about 6 years, which means it has really, really dried out. I actually went out specifically to buy this brick, just this one brick, put it in the cupboard and forgot about this. So, I could spray paint it. That seems a bit boring, doesn't it? So, what we're going to do, get this little box here. This is a gold leaf. I went online and I ordered a kit that has got gold leaf in it. So we're going to try and put gold leaf on a brick, because why wouldn't you? Alright, I best read the instructions because I'm useless at that. Right, well, this is stupid. That is 2 layers. It's the tiny sheets. They are literally like that big. So it's 3 sheets a side. I've never done this before, so I don't know what I'm doing, but you can see where there are patches of the actual brick coming through. So I think now I've got to leave that to dry for a little while before I attempt another side. I've got to be honest. It's looking like PVA glue that they're using, and there's not a lot supplied. So it's I think you're supposed to leave it a little longer than I have been, but the problem I've got is that the brick, because it's so dry, it's just sucking in all of the adhesive. And I'll show you that in a bit when I put the adhesive on another side. You'll be able to see it just go like that. So yeah, it's not coming out too bad. You've got to remember, it is a brick. It's not a fully perfect surface. But that is definitely a gold colour. Gold leaf on a house brick. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Not sure how I'm going to show this very well, but I've put adhesive on that side, but not this side yet. So if we draw this across, see how it's changing colour? That is the brick actually absorbing the adhesive. So yeah, it's a very, very dry brick. It's probably the best way to do it, because then whatever's in the surface is just the glue, rather than you're fighting like old rainwater. It's like, I've got bricks in the garden, but I probably wouldn't use one of those for this. So yeah, make sure your brick is dry first, but maybe not 8 years in a cup, 6 years in the bottom of a wardrobe dry. Well, it's kind of not going well. This is the first side that I started on. This has had 2 layers, and it's getting there, but then everywhere else is, it's coming out a bit rough. This has all only had 1 layer so far, so yeah, I think the trick is now to leave it to dry for a fair while. As I say, I'm pretty sure it's PVA glue that's being used, but yeah, it's going to need, like I say, that's 2 layers, so that's the bare minimum. Probably 3 layers. I haven't done the bottom yet because it needs somewhere to sit. So yeah, and it is extremely messy. Got gold leaf everywhere. Very fiddly to work with, very fine, static prone as well, so that's always fun. I mean, that's just curled up on itself, but, you know, it just... Yeah. It's a good job I'm only doing this once. Don't think I'll be doing this one again, but I do want it to look pretty good. The only downside as well is actually making sure it's on there. The glue's not the best that they provided. Like I say, I think it's PVA of some description, but it's getting close to. I mean, it's certainly reflective, so that'll work. If I can get... Again, it's not going to be a smooth finish because it's not a smooth brick, but if I can get sort of that mirror effect going all the way around, then we're laughing. The problem is I'm running out of glue, so... Well, we'll see. I'll leave it for a bit and then do another covering. Why not? Well, the holes in the brick, I don't know what they're for, but it's usually for allowing reinforcement or, you know, extra mortar, but trying to do those is hilarious because you take your foil and when you put it in, you try and say you're trying to do the bottom. The static just makes it crumple up and then it disintegrates onto your fingers. Yeah, this is not easy, doing something this shape, but I'm just trying to get a layer down so that I can then let it dry and get a second layer started. Yeah, this is proved that one is terrible in there. The actual whole thing is terrible, but you know, we're going to persevere. I've got about it came as like a pack of 100. I'm down to I'm about halfway through. Let's be fair. But yeah, it's a mess. One thing I'm running into at the moment is between the brick being so dry and it being quite warm out here because it's a nice day, the glue's drying really quickly. But the problem is as soon as I open the window to try and get a bit of airflow through, the gold just drifts, it blows everywhere. So I'm having to fight that, and it means I'm using twice as much as I was hoping to, glue-wise anyway. But now that's the first coat. Well, loosely done again. That side's had 2. It's going to need a third. But yeah, it's not working very well. I think it's a combination of lack of ability and not being aware of how this stuff works. But, you know, from certain angles, it certainly looks like a house brick that is gold, which is what we're looking for. So I'm just going to keep plugging away at this, adding more and more glue and gold leaf, and we'll see where we end up in an hour or 2. Yeah, I'm going to let it harden off for a little bit and flake off, you know, brush off the excess and then go again. Yep. I've got gold in me coffee. It didn't say whether it was edible or not, but I'm going to drink it anyway. It's a waste of good coffee. Yeah, fun. Right, 3 sides have now had 2 layers. And the problem I have now is I have to leave it to literally harden as much as it can, because to do the other 3 sides would mean putting one of the... Yeah, it's because it's basically a block. It's got 6 sides. I can't do opposite sides without putting one side down. It's a thing. So I'm pretty sure it was... I can never remember which end it's done. I've done this end, done this side, and I've given this one another go over, and it's still got the reflective type, but it's a bit of a pig because on the edges it's got all these little dimples and marks and stuff like that. I've still got to redo the middles, which are an absolute nightmare, and it's just the way the light is catching it. You can't tell if all of the little cracks and crevices are still brown or not. The brick red, sorry, not brown, is it? Bricks are red. You can't get brown bricks, but these are red. But yeah, see, it's difficult to see now because of the sun starting to set over there. And it's taken a good couple of hours. A lot of that is drying time, I've got to be fair. And it does make a mess. I'm going to be finding this Anybody who's worked with glitter, yeah, this is very similar. But yeah, so I'll leave this now until, well, we'll see what the lighting is like tomorrow. And we'll start work on the other 3 sides, and then once that's done, we can then start working on making sure that it is completely covered, because I've still got, like I said, I've got to do the centres, but, you know, it is silly, isn't it? A gold brick. Anyway, we'll carry this on in a bit. See ya. Right, back at it for day 2, and you can definitely see where the actual brick is still showing, especially in the middle. The outside is coming up. This is cold. Wow, this is cold. Coming along quite well. Like I say, you can see where the brick is showing on the areas that haven't had a second coat, or a second layer, I should say. So today we're going to crack on and get some more done. Get some more layers put in. I'm running low now, but we've upgraded slightly from a old knackered paintbrush to a relatively soft makeup brush. It seems to be working slightly better, so that's a good thing. And then, because I'm almost out of, well, I am out of the glue that was provided, we've shifted to bog standard boring PVA. It seems to be doing the job. Just have to let it dry to slightly tacky before you can apply the leaf. So yeah, we're going to carry on with the next bit. We're going to focus more on the centres today, to be honest, because the outside is not looking too bad. There's a few little spots that need extra, but that'll come right at the very end once we've got the centres done, because I don't know how much of that I'm going to have left. Yeah. Right, let's crack on. Well, these centres are still being a bit of a pain. A combination of me trying to rush it and it not being perfect glue, obviously. And static. This is such a fine foil. Again, I showed yesterday, when you try and put it in the centre, it just... And then when you do try and layer it properly, it tends to tear slightly and you end up with spots. So we're going to let it dry for a little bit now. We're a couple of hours in. Let the glue dry off. Give it a quick brush down and then see where it needs to be touched up. But the outside now of the block, the brick, has had 2 full layers of the leaf on all 6 sides. Now it's just these centerpieces to focus on. And then a bit of polish. Well, I'm not sure how I'm going to clean this up, because I still want it to look like a brick, which it does with the striations and everything. But I'm not sure how I can make it shiny other than just constantly working it with a delicate brush. But I'm impatient in that respect. Well, this hasn't gone very well. I'm down to my last few sheets of gold leaf and I'm not overly happy. But to be honest, that is, I don't know how many, I think it was like 50 in the pack that'll have gone on this thing, and for the most part, yeah, it's all right. But we're just going to throw these last few on, to hell with it. And then we'll just see what I can do to try and... Oh, wow. Okay. So I've got to rub it down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think what I should have done is spray painted it with some cheap gold spray paint, then done the gold leaf. But yeah, it's not what I wanted to do. But yeah, we're going to just throw these last few bits on and then see how it looks. Well, it's not perfect, but I think I've got as much done as I can. Just got to let everything dry now. Still ended up with about 2 sheets left, so I was a bit panicky, but we're all right. Now the thing is to let all the glue dry, let the gold leaf take, as it were, and then brush off the excess and see how it looks, because there's still a little bit of flaky stuff knocking about. So just got to let that dry and then just see how it comes out once I start brushing the excess off and possibly get rid of some of these thumbprints. But, you know, we'll have a look again, maybe later today or even tomorrow. I don't know, but we'll have a look later. Oh, well, I have a gold brick. That's all that can be said, really. I just spent like 2.5 days applying gold leaf to a house brick. There's no rhyme or reason other than to say I have a gold brick. Yeah, and even then, it's not perfect. There's still little areas, especially inside these holes, that aren't great, and you can see that. I mean, the gold leaf is patchy well, it's not patchy; it's just the finish. And the problem is, I don't want to be polishing it or anything. It does have the reflective qualities, but at the same time, it's a house brick covered in gold leaf. Make it make sense to me. It's cool. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. It's definitely a talking point, but yeah. The only downside now is I've got gold leaf absolutely everywhere. Yeah, not sure the vacuum's going to pick all that up, but never mind. But yeah, no, I'm calling that one finished. I don't know. It makes no sense, but it's a thing that I have done. Yeah. Right, I guess I'll speak to you later.